What's up, Syndicate members? Hope you're having a great Saturday morning. I had a couple of updates for you guys and want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as what's happening in the Syndicate. And just a little reminder about why I'm sometimes pretty tough with you guys. And I have high expectations for you. And I have very sort of strict guidelines for the Syndicate. Some of you have been in the Syndicate long enough, you kind of know why I basically operate it the way that I do. But some of you that are new, maybe you're not aware of that. So I want to make sure that you understand why I hold you guys basically accountable as if you were my licensing partners. And I hold the same standards for you that I would hold to basically anybody that I collaborate in this industry. But first of all, the updates and what's happening. So Trevor's 2 opportunities have been closed. So he's gotten all the music he needs for both of those. And I know he went through a lot of music, and I hope he got a great couple of albums there. I'm sure he did. So thank you guys so much for participating in those. And thank you, Trevor, for hosting those here. Really cool that we have, multiple outlets here in the Syndicate that we can get our music out there. And so it's just really awesome that we have those opportunities here. So I hope a lot of you guys took advantage of that and got your tracks up there. My opportunity, we still have 1 spot left. I just accepted the 11th track this morning, and I have 1 more spot open. So if you haven't already submitted 3, remember, for my opportunities, you get to submit up to 3 tracks. This is to ensure that everybody gets a fair shot at these things. Okay, I don't want one composer just throwing 10 tracks at the thing. I want to make sure that everybody gets a nice fair shot at it. So if you haven't submitted all 3 of your tracks yet or submissions, or if you have a revision that I gave you some notes on that you've been meaning to get to, please get to it this weekend. I have a feeling that probably by the end of tomorrow, the album will be complete. I think I'll get at least 1 or 2 more submissions by then that I'll probably be happy with. So it's sort of crunch time for those of you that have been waiting or, putting those final touches on that last thing. Make sure you get that up there, get it to go. Again, last reminder, I'm also only looking for more funk-based tracks. We've gotten plenty of soul ones with the horns and that kind of Motown sound. I want to steer a little bit further away from that, go to more disco, Saturday Night Fever, more guitar-centered, upbeat dance kind of tracks, okay? But make sure authentic 70s feeling, okay? Authentic 70s bass, 70s drums, all those references that I supplied for you guys. I should give you enough ideas and references so you guys know kind of what to shoot for with all those things, right? Okay, so I've had a couple of these, not many. I used to have more of these issues in the past, but I think because I've been kind of becoming more of a hard ass with you guys on the guidelines that I give for my opportunities, more of you guys are taking the time to read instructions, make sure you know exactly what you're getting into with an opportunity, following references, following guidelines, right? So one of my rules with my opportunities is that if you post a track and it doesn't follow the guidelines that I set out for you, it could be in terms of the length of track. Like if I tell you a minimum has to be 2 minutes, maximum 3 minutes, and I give you those hard deadlines, if you post a track that's 3 minutes and 2 seconds, you're not getting feedback and your track's not going to be considered. It's just an automatic rejection. Now, why am I so hard about those kind of things, right? It is tough love. That's what I'm giving you, okay? I know it sucks. I know it's frustrating. I know you put a lot of time into that track, but you know what? I also put a lot of time into these opportunities, right? I put a lot of time into making sure I have the instructions all laid out. I also have relationships with our library partners to make sure that their needs are being met. And a lot of these instructions and guidelines that I put are coming directly from them. So it's not so much about like, well, how come Jesse cares so much about 2 or 3 minutes? It's really not about me. A lot of the times it has to do with what they want, right? And if we give them tracks that are 3 minutes and 2 seconds, well, that shows that we don't follow directions and it becomes a nightmare for them. And they might come back and say, hey, kind of cool track, but let's redo it. So I want to make sure that you guys start to build this habit from day one in this industry. Read directions, follow guidelines, right? Read everything twice. The temptation, and I remember falling prey to this, and I still do, 11 years into this industry, is when you get an opportunity and you get references and you get the terms and there's all this excitement about, oh, okay, and now I'm ready to start working. We as producers and musicians are impulsive, and we basically just want to open up our DAW and just start cranking out tracks right away, right? And we think, oh, okay, I've heard that music, great, and I know what to do, right? It's that sort of rushing into the production of it without spending at least, I would say, spend an hour, right? Really listening to those reference tracks. If there's only one reference track, of course, listen to it maybe 3 or 4 times through, take some notes. I have those tutorials in Sync Academy here with how do you analyze a reference track and how do you start to make those notes, right? Physically make notes. so you know that you're hitting all the points you need to. Instrumentation, BPM, the beat, the emotion, the transitions, the structure, the length. There's all those kind of elements you need to make sure that you're following. But it's so important to slow down. When you get an opportunity in front of you, even if it's a 24-hour turnaround thing, right? I mean, even things that are like, hey, I need it by 5 p.m. Rather than just rushing into a track and doing it the wrong way, not really following the guidelines, you're basically wasting your time if you just rush into production. Because think about all the hours that you put into that track, where if you just waited maybe 30 minutes, an hour, sat with the instructions, really absorbed it, really made sure maybe even you printed out those instructions, posted them on your wall, listened to the reference tracks for a long time. Now, when you go spend that 4, 6, 8 hours producing that track, you have much better chances of getting accepted, right? Because if you don't get accepted, I'm not saying it's a complete waste. There's always other opportunities you should be looking for, but I know you guys want to get the placement, right? If it's a custom opportunity, one of my albums, one of Trevor's opportunities, you spend this time because you expect and hope to get your track placed. And a lot of you guys are getting rejected because of this rushing thing. I can almost guarantee it. Obviously, I don't know it for sure. I'm not with you in your studios. But when I hear a lot of this music, I can just see you got excited. You just wanted to crank out something real quick. You thought you already had it in the bag, and you really didn't. You really didn't take the time you needed to make sure you understood what was being asked of you, including just reading basic instructions about what needs to be submitted. So I am harsh with you guys. I am hard. I do sort of make sure that you guys will see consequences if you don't follow directions. Okay. I would not be doing you guys any favors if I was completely, oh, it's okay. Yeah, I guess it's all right. And just was completely lenient with everything and let everything slide. Because what is that doing for your habits, your workflow, your professionalism? It's lowering the bar for you. Well, it's okay. I mean, Jesse said that's fine. So then what do you do when you go to the libraries that you're going to work with? Well, you have this bad habit baked in that I didn't call out on. I didn't try to straighten out for you. And so now you have these really terrible work habits in your career. So as an educator, as a mentor, as a guide here with the Syndicate, I'm not doing you any favors by going easy on you and by letting you get away with stuff. If things do, and in some ways, I think I am too lenient in many ways, because there's a lot of times I ask for metadata and there's slots that are just missing. Some people are just not even filling in all their slots. Some of them are filled incorrectly. They're not putting the right information there, incorrect information. And I always go back and, all right, let's get that fixed. But some libraries are not going to be even that patient with you guys. They'll just not want to work with somebody, because there are plenty of producers that are hungry enough, that are going to pay attention to the details and get these little things right, get metadata right, get deliverables right, follow reference tracks, right? All that kind of stuff. So part of the value of the Syndicate is accountability. I hold you guys accountable on professional levels, right? I want to make sure that when you guys, if you do decide to leave the Syndicate and you decide to go out and start, building your own relationships, or maybe you do build your relationships while you're in the Syndicate and then eventually go out and do it on your own, you expect high things of yourself. You expect high levels of professionalism from yourself. The beautiful thing about this business, and the really difficult thing about this business, is that there are no bosses to hold you accountable. I'm not your boss. I mean, I will tell you guys, if you want to work with my opportunities, yes, I am the boss there. I'm going to tell you what you need to do, level of standards, absolutely. But when it comes down to working with other libraries and other clients and supervisors, you don't have a boss. There's nobody telling you, hey, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. Nobody's behind you overseeing and supervising your career. You are the boss. You are the CEO. So you better start acting like a CEO. You better start acting and behaving like a professional producer that reads directions and follows guidelines and delivers when you're expected to be delivered. Okay. So just want to give that little quick update for you guys. That's why I do the things that I do here in the Syndicate. And that's why I hold you guys to high standards. And I know a lot of you guys value that. And that's why you're here. It's because you need that sort of, that standard to basically hold you accountable. And as the months and maybe years go on, these things become second nature, right? Becoming excellence should be a habit, right? It's not something that one day you're excellent and the next day you're terrible, and then you're excellent again and then you're terrible. It's like, that's not really how success works. Success works is maybe in the beginning you have a lot of bad habits, terrible habits, just not really effective workflows. But every day you do a little bit more to get better, right? Your health, your production workflow, your mixing strategies, your mastering strategies, just your business understanding, right? your motivation, all that kind of stuff. Just every day you get a little bit better, a little bit better. And then doing great things and doing excellent work and staying motivated and staying positive and productive is what you do. It's as natural and it's second nature as breathing. You just do these things and you don't even think about doing them. So that's what I hope you guys are getting out of the Syndicate. That's the skill set that I want you guys to take with you into this industry long to the rest of your guys' career. So thank you guys so much, and keep those tracks coming. Again, looking for one last one for my opportunity. Hopefully I'll see it either today or tomorrow.